How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a new YouTube video. My name is Trey Cockrum. I've made millions and millions of dollars of personal take-home profit selling online coaching programs in various different niches. I currently have two businesses. I have a totally separate business. I don't use any of my audience. I don't sell to this platform at all. It's pure cold traffic with ads, and that business just wrapped up a $25,000 week. And then I have this business where I help other online coaches grow their business. And in this video, what I want to talk about is basically how to become a niche of one. Okay, how to create a message that's so good that you're not really related to other people. Okay, now on the surface, I mean, obviously there's other people that do something like what I do, right? But as people get to understand me and my story and my background and the different ways that I think about things and the different ways that I process growing your business, I effectively become my own niche, okay? And, just this week I've had a handful of consults. Every single one has enrolled. In this business, in the coaches business, I've brought home about $20,000 or $25,000 in profit this week. It's currently Thursday. So to me, I think the thing that gives me an advantage is I have a dialed in, what I'm just going to call a message, right? And a message really comes down to three key components. First, you have the character, the person behind the message, the person giving you the message, and their values, their character traits, who they are as a person, okay, and their background and everything. And then you kind of have the opportunity or the mechanism or the thing that they're introducing to you, okay? This is like their unique strategy, their unique way of, doing things, okay? And then you have what is called a cause, a reason why this person is willing and wanting to share this with you. And if you watch my content, I'll kind of turn you on to some game here. Throughout all of my content, even though I don't get a ton of views, and I don't need to in order to make a lot of money, I get very abysmally low amount of views. like sometimes I get like 300 views on a video, but that still drives my business forward because I've nailed my message. And so if you watch my content, you'll see me doing that throughout the content. And even if you watch my other videos where I talk about our other business, you'll see how in that paid advertising funnel, we nail each of these components. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple of tools so that by the end of this video, you know how to nail your message and how to effectively be uncompetable, right? So really create your own niche, your own sphere, okay? And then dominate that sphere. So how to create your own ocean and then dominate that ocean. Okay, the very first thing is, and I've talked about this in a lot of other videos, but it's your mechanism, okay? Your mechanism is essentially the meat and bones behind your strategy, okay? And when you are a personal brand, like you're making content, sometimes you are the mechanism. Sometimes you as the person are the thing that's going to get somebody from where they want to get from where they are to where they want to get. But especially when you're doing cold traffic, new people who don't know who you are, you really have to nail your mechanism because people don't intuitively trust strangers. So you have to nail what it is that you're actually teaching, the meat and bones of what it is that you teach. So, for example, in my other company, what we call our mechanism is content connecting. And that's essentially a business model that allows you to sign retainer-based clients to manage their short-form content and make, $6 to $10,000 a month by just having retainer-based clients, right? So that's kind of what we teach over there. We're planning on pivoting to something else potentially, but that is currently what we teach. And we call it content connecting because, that's what we call it. And we justify to people. These are people, by the way, who are not in the agency space. They're not in the coaching space. These are total regular people. These are people who are completely outside of the sphere of most of the people who watch my content. So we have the ability to then justify and make a case as to why content connecting is better, faster, easier, more guaranteed than any other options that they've heard of before. Okay, and we just, like a lawyer would make a case to a jury, we make that case in our marketing material. Okay, and then in my content here on this channel, my mechanism is kind of like messaging. It is mechanism design. So I talk about how if you're gonna grow your coaching business, whether it's through organic or paid, because I've got clients, I took one client who's pure paid traffic from $20,000 a month to $100,000 a month in 60 days. I took another client of mine doing $15,000 a month. He just had an $80,000 a month. Sorry, not 18. $15,000 a month to $80,000 a month. He's pure YouTube organic. Okay, so messaging is the crux behind both of those results that I've driven for these clients. And by the way, if you're interested, links in the description for what it would look like to get my support, okay? A bunch of information down there. But that said, that's kind of my core thing. My core methodology is, look, right now, most of the money as an online coach is made in the red oceans. And the red oceans are red because there's money to be made. These are like very popular offers that work. They just work. People want them. There's real desire. There's real pains there. There's real motivation to buy something. So if you can move into one of those red oceans, but have a unique message or a unique mechanism, that's how you can win. Like, there's literally probably 100,000 different online coaching and course programs on how to make money on the internet. But because I coined the term content connecting with my other business, that gave me a unique advantage. Okay? So that's the first thing, is nail your mechanism. Nail the cornerstone of your business, which is your mechanism, and call it something that is a little bit different, and justify it and why it's legitimate in ways that others aren't justifying it. And you want to sprinkle that into your organic content or in your paid content, your VSL funnels, your webinar funnels, etc. You want to have like an irrefutable case. You want it to be like, there's just no refuting that this is the most legitimate way to do this, okay? And you have to make a strong case. And so this is the idea that you got to get them to believe, if you want somebody to buy something from you, like a coaching program in particular, you have to get them to first believe that your way of doing things is the best way to do things, okay? So if you can get them to believe that, then the next thing is getting them to believe in you. Now, how do you get somebody to believe in you? There's a couple things you got to do. First of all, you have to share your background. Talk about where you came from, talk about who you are, and talk about where you got your start, and talk about really the things that make you up. Like on this channel, I talk very openly about how I got my start. I talk about how I was a wedding photographer, right? And that was basically my main business. And then we went through what, at the time was a house fire. And I lost everything. My whole family pretty much lost everything because we were there's a lot that happened in that time, but, we have a family business. You can look my dad up, Jim Cockrum. He's got an education business online as well. And when this house fire happened, it just threw a lot of things into whack, basically. I mean, there was a lot of ripples that came from that. And so it really inspired me to figure something out that I didn't have to go and do things in person, like wedding photography. And I also was only making $3,000 to $5,000 a month with that. So I started a wedding photography coaching business, and I got that to $10,000 or $20,000 a month. Then I started a marketing agency helping a lot of different businesses grow. I got that to $60,000 a month. And then I pivoted back into pure consulting and coaching, and I've kind of held that for a while now. Okay, and so that's kind of that was a lot more to my story. You know what I mean? There's so much more to that. I could make a whole 40-minute video about my whole story, and I really do need to do that because people want to know who they're listening to. They want to understand the values, the character traits, the person behind, the message, right? And if they don't have that relationship, then you're not creating that niche of one. Okay, so if you nail your mechanism and then you nail the person behind it, then you get really, really hard to compete with in terms of the quality of your message. Okay, and so I want you to think about in your content, sort of leaking into your content, the stuff about you, and who you actually are, because quite frankly, people don't buy just the program; they buy, the coach, as they've said. And if you don't communicate who you are, you lose a lot of people. So the final piece, I talked about there's 3 pieces, right? There's the mechanism, there's the person, and then there's the cause. So what's the real cause? For me, I genuinely believe that God's put a calling on my life to do this. That's my cause. I feel like I'm supposed to do this. I wake up every day with a sense of mission and passion and excitement for what it is that I do. I want to help people build liquid wealth. Quite frankly, the education industry is pretty much already dead. The old education industry, meaning, traditional public school, college, it's pretty much everybody understands that it doesn't really work that well. And so the future is peer-to-peer education, right? And so I believe I'm at a critical point where I'm supposed to show up in this time, even if I help only a handful of people reach $1 million a year or 8 figures a year with their businesses. I'm doing the world an incredible service by doing that because I'm helping real people, real experts drive real results for people, right? And so that's kind of my mission, is to make a proper dent in, the education space. And so I kind of have these pieces of my message sort of narrowed in. And for my other business, our mission, we work mostly with Christian men. So our mission is to give Christian men, time and financial freedom so that they can be with their families and do other more important things than just, clock in and clock out of work. So we want to give them a skill set so they can be present with their families. That's kind of our mission over there. So we have a mechanism, we have a person, which is myself and my background running our marketing agency, and then our head coach over there who designed our whole program, his name's Tom, and his start and how he makes, $15,000 a month just basically chilling, and he used to work construction, right? So we've got the mechanism, content connecting, we've got the people, myself, Tom, and we have the mission, right? Helping Christian men. So we have these pieces dialed in. And because we've dialed in those pieces, people are way more receptive to the message. Okay, so becoming a niche of one and creating a moat around your business comes down to nailing your message. Okay, I'm going to put a little plug here. There's a video on my channel called, well, it's not really a plug. It's more just like a recommendation. There's a video on my channel called I Built 3 6-Figure Month Businesses with This. Once you're done watching this video, you should totally watch it. It should be linked in my description here. And it talks more in depth about this concept of nailing your mechanism and nailing your messaging. Because messaging is the crux of everything. If you nail your messaging, ads work, organic works, everything freaking works, right? Messaging is the backbone of all of it. But people tend to get so focused on particular strategies like DM ads or school funnels or webinar funnels or VSL funnels or YouTube organic or Instagram or TikTok or X or whatever. Platform irrelevant, the message is what makes things work, okay? Because we're living in a time right now where people want legitimate ways of reaching the desires that they have, and they want to learn them from real people, okay? That's what people want. They want legitimate ways of reaching the desires they have, and they want to learn them from real people. So if you can legitimize your mechanism, your strategy, and you make a strong case around your way of doing things and how it works so well, and then you open the door up and you share who you are as an individual. You don't just talk, your thing all the time. You talk your background. You introduce characters from your life, your family, whoever is close to you in your life. You involve them in the content. You get them to understand that you're a real person with a real background and character flaws and mistakes that you've made. And you share your values, even the things that might be controversial. You share the values anyway. You know what I mean? And even for myself, like I very openly share, my political, my religious values, the way that I think and process the world, because I just think that creates a lot more trust. And because really you need to establish two things in order for somebody to buy something from you. You need to establish truth, meaning they believe that your way is a better option than the alternatives. Okay? And then you need to establish trust, which is that they believe that you as a person are who you say you are. And that can be done with your story. Okay? So if you can get truth and you can get trust, you can get somebody to buy essentially anything from you. But the problem is people just make content blindly. They just turn on the camera and they just riff, right? They just go. And there's a time for that. They just turn on ads and they just throw together a funnel and see what happens. And there's a time for that. You got to, obviously learn by failing forward, figuring it out. But I believe that if you can take some time to really process through, again, what's my mechanism? What makes it better, unique, different, easier, faster, more guaranteed, and a better alternative than doing nothing, which is actually the main thing you have to combat in your message. It's not your version versus other people in your market's version. It's actually your version versus the option that everybody has of just doing F all with the ideas, right? And not doing anything with what they've learned. So you have to have such a strong case that it's so much a better option for them to take action than it is for them to do nothing, okay? And then you have to have a person behind it that people can relate to, that they like, that there's facets of that individual that people feel like they can relate to. There's a background, there's a story. If you look at the biggest brands, they nail this stuff. They just absolutely nail it. They're mostly story driven. There's a book called Real Marketers Tell Stories, right? It's by Seth Godin, I believe. Is it on my desk over here, on my thing over here? It is not. But yeah, it's this idea that people don't buy into concepts, they buy into stories. They buy into what the thing has done for others or what the thing has done for you. And so you have to make logical and emotional cases for your way of doing things so that people are forced to believe in them. You could literally corner their prefrontal cortex, this part of their brain that is responsible for making decisions in their own benefit based on their own biases and what they perceive to be true, right? And so if you can corner that part of their brain by making a strong case, by using logic and emotion, having a cause that they believe in as well, a person that they could relate to, and a mechanism that they believe is legitimate, true, and unique, and different, and faster, and easier, and a better alternative than doing nothing, no matter what it costs to do it. That's how you create conversion. That's how you create a moat around what it is that you do, okay? So you can't be competed with. You know what I mean? If all I do is talk about the price of my offer, my guarantee, and all I do is I talk about the results that it's gotten, which quite frankly is not that unique, then I'm going to be in a red ocean, and I'm not going to create wealth for myself with my content, with my message. But if I talk about these other things that I've just described, I'm unlocking my own space, you know. And so over the next 2 to 5 years, my plan is just to focus and focus and focus on this over and over again. Drill this message home. Drill it, drill it, drill it. Who I am, my mechanism, my cause, right? The other business that I run, the legitimacy that it gives me, and how it's like you can't refute that this stuff works. I threw together a business the end of last year. It's been alive for a couple months, and now it's capable of 6-figure months, right? And so, you guys, I just want you to understand the value of what I'm giving you, and I hope that this is a helpful video. This is how to essentially make it irrefutable that you are the only person that they should or could work with to reach the goals or outcomes that they have. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.